Not gonna lie, this subject scares me a little. Welcome, the War Chief of Light is back with an epic video. Hi, my name is PBiggy, but you lovely people are more than welcome to call me Peeps. And today we are hitting a subject that's a little niche, but she's growing pretty big pretty fast, and it's frightening. We're talking some cult-like behavior. Cult-like, not cult. And for once, my old age actually comes in handy here because it's familiar. As usual, all of my links and stuff will be in the description. Linking to an original YouTube video, a TikTok, which is where I seen the situation first, and the website in question. Go check it out for yourself. You don't need to believe everything you see, but this is how I see it. So let's start with the drama. The T. Azure Infinitum, which, listen, I'm going to mispronounce that 1,000 times going forward, but she's going to be a popular word in this video. This is an FC that is over 10 years old. It spans several different data centers. It also spans different games, so you can find an Azure Infinitum in like Lord of the Rings, in like ESO. I've seen some of it in Destiny. It's quite large. It has a website. It has a forum, Discord. Like the Discord's pretty normal today, but it has a Discord. It has a second website that is larger. So there's quite a lot. The videos that have come out about it are either from ex-members or people just reporting on what's going on. And the reality is that stuff's not jiving. Okay? And I'm not going to lie to you, a lot of this will seem unhinged, but take a second and just go through with it with me, okay? The videos I watched really did list out a bunch of behaviors. You're going to see we're going to focus on some a little bit more than others, because we're not in the business of attacking people we don't know. That just makes sense. However, I do not want anyone attacking the members of this FC for any reason, because the reality is if this is a community that makes them feel safe, welcome, whatever, it's not up to you to take that away, whether you agree with it or not. So let's go through these videos point by point, and you'll see why I felt this was important to make. So the first thing both creators in question mention is the lengthy set of rules. And both creators make the joke that it's longer than the TOS for Final Fantasy XIV. Which the larger creator, I think, knew better than to steal that joke from the smaller creator, but I digress. This FC does have a lengthy set of rules. I did go through them one at a time. I read through each one and looked at what was going on. Now, nothing's wrong on the surface. These rules make sense for the most part. There's none that seem outside or unhinged or weird. It seems very typical terms of service, but it is quite lengthy, and that's honest. The only thing that stuck out to me, at least, was a lot of the repetition of like no drama and stuff like that, which, if you're a little seasoned, you know, the minute they mention no drama, there's been drama. So that's the vibes that I got, is that this place probably has a lot of it and needs to put a stamp on it, or had a lot of it and this is recovery. It's usually the first one. So other than that, makes sense. And I mean, if you've been playing video games and been in communities in the past, like early 2000s, this is normal. Any website for a guild or a FC or a clan look like this, so it's par for the course, right? The videos also mentioned some very rigid ranking structures for the officers that included training to be able to go up to the next level, which it's not typical for small guilds. Let's be honest. You promote it your buddy, you promote it the guy that leads pretty good, the PvP guy, maybe a couple more because they've earned it, and that's kind of it. But back in the day, that's not how you did it. Back in the day, you did have these rigid structures, and a lot of the times you would be required to post in the forum so many times. You'd be required to sign up to the website. If you required, like, there was a lot of stupid shit that came with it in these larger communities. And as I was writing this video, I decided to read through that too, right? Like, just go through it. And the ranking structure is pretty well what I expected. You have to be in the guild so many months. You have to run so many events. You have to move up the ranks. And that's par for the course, right? I mean, does it make sense to me? It's a little different, but you see how stuff's starting to add up. Stick with me a little longer. The videos discuss a ban page where all the players that have ever been banned are listed and why. And they also talk about how people are poaching members of their guild and stuff. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I couldn't find the ban page. I didn't look too hard, I won't lie to you, but I did do a little digging and didn't find it. So it's not easy to find. That being said, I remember seeing ban lists on websites and forums. I can remember even if after a certain rank, you were not allowed to have any of the banned members on your friends list. Or my personal favorite, the poachers. They were evil. They were scum of the earth because they were trying to get your guild members, your community members out. There was a few mentions of poaching a little bit everywhere on this website, which again seems par for the course for 2010, 2008, 2012. Another point that they mentioned that I thought was less weird than most was, oh, they even go on parade and chant as free as the Azure sky in game. Listen, we do silly shit in game. I once joined a group that would AFK their Lalafells in places because Lalas are great. Agreed. But still, I remember, again, let's go back to let's say 07. I was in a guild that if you were a raider, you were required to wear your tabard. Same thing if you were in PvP. You were not allowed to enter the raided battlegrounds without your tabard. So yeah, this is a thing that people did. There seems to be a lot of drama with the head of the FC, which I haven't mentioned up to this point for a reason. We're going to discuss a little bit later. We're not going to go too deep into it because, again, I feel like it's secondary to the main problem. Because to me, out of everything that I mentioned so far, when you put it together to somebody who's never been in one of these communities, it's fucking madness. It's ridiculous. All of this to play a video game with your friends? What? Required attendance to things? Required running of events? Required recruiting goals? It's all a lot. But it's not new. Let me bring you back to 2005, 6, 7, 8, let's say 2005 through 2012, okay? I'm going to remind you for a second that 1, Discord was not a thing. No, didn't happen. 2, the social medias were babies. Not everybody was on them. Not everybody felt safe using them. It was still very much in their infancy. Okay, so you want to game with your friends. What do? You either make friends online, you already have friends, or you join a guild. You join a clan if you're playing Halo. That's what they call them. Don't look at me like that. You would join larger guilds, and you would get caught up in some of these communities. These started. You would get recruiting messages in your Xbox messages, however that worked at the time. I wasn't on Xbox. You would get recruiting whispers, even if you were already in a smaller guild. And you were promised a welcoming atmosphere. Friends to do the friend online content, the raiding, the game nights. You'd always have people to play with. I mean, yeah, that sounds great. And let me remind you, no Discord. We were using Ventrilo and TeamSpeak. Those ain't free. So somebody's offering to pay it. I mean, this was a great way to meet a lot of people all at once. This was a great way if you struggled socially to meet people, and guaranteed groups were running 3 nights a week, 5 nights a week. Your officers were literally always on. Always. For some reason, every single one of these major large communities broke apart in a fiery dumpster fire of mess. They all did. Why? Drama is usually the excuse that's given, but the reality is that you expect socially for people to dig their time into this 3, 4, 7 nights a week for some people. You expected these people to have a perfect attendance. If you wanted them to rank up and meet more people, talk with more people, and feel like they're a part of something, their time was sunk in. You would shame them when their friend would leave and you would talk to them. Very quickly, the rigidity of these types of communities hurt. And big emotions come out and they break. There's a reason why we call them cult-like. It doesn't fit the definition of a cult. It does not. Don't look at me like that. It does not. It fits parts of it. And some of the parts it does is it isolates you. So your friends are online. It's Tuesday. You need to be online all night because you need to run a recruiting event. What about Wednesday? Well, Wednesday I'm going to have to assist on this guy's promotion, so I'll have to be there. But this guy got into a fight, so I'll be back on at 11. You see what I mean? You're isolated into that group. 2, these are the only friends you have at some point because they take so much of your time away from you. And again, back then, a lot of people, this was their only way to be very social in that wild, wild west of what the fuck the internet was in the late 2000s, early 2010s. It also became difficult to leave. Again, you saw the shame the poachers got. You saw the shame that your friend that left just got. That's not how real life works. But here it does. So no, this is not new. Sorry to say. It's new, like Final Fantasy XIV. It's the first time I hear Final Fantasy XIV having that issue. But it's not new. It's a very old problem. But what's interesting is that today it's a problem with the access of social media and the ease of access through Discord. Now, from what I've heard from other people, there's still these community type... I know it still exists, obviously. I mean, we're talking about Azure Infinitum. But it's not nearly as prevalent as it used to be because we see the red flags a whole lot easier. We've gotten therapy, okay? We also have a better way to speak to more people. It's easier to talk to 1,000 gamers that play the same game as you versus the 100 on your data center. So things have changed. And that's the surprising part, is that this is so big in 2024. So, if you are an Azure Infinitum member, 1, if you're happy, good. I hope it stays that way. Don't let yourself get burnt out. It is perfectly fine to say no, regardless of the social pressures, to do anything. Okay, you don't want to raid? That's cool. You're sick? Fine. Fuck it, you're tired? Let's go. If you're finding it difficult to leave, you are worth the time it takes to get help. And yeah, for a lot of people, there was a lot of stuff we had to unpack once we left these types of communities. Some of us took months to get our headspace back. That's normal. But again, let me reiterate, if you're happy, you're in a great mental health space, good. That's what I want. Truly. But beware of those red flags. Now, the second part of the video is the leader, the master, self-given title. I will be referring them as they, them. The reason why is because in the few videos that I've watched, the comment section is very much, hey, he goes by he, she goes by she, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take the coward's they because I don't want to offend this person, regardless of my opinion of anybody. Call them by the pronoun that they prefer. And I just don't want to get it wrong. There's a lot of talk about how this person is egotistical, is self-centered, their RP around them, and everything is about them. I can't speak to that person specifically. I can see that their website is very self-centered, which, I mean, listen, I do YouTube. Most YouTubers are like that. Being honest, okay? That's the world we live in. Also, I'm not gonna lie to you, after reading the rules, I'm going to assume that a lot of the drama tends to come from above. That's how the communities tend to work. That's how I'm assuming she goes. That is speculation. I also did see a lot of commentary about how this person is trying to promote a brand, an empire, which, par for the course. In 2008, it still kind of fits those old websites. This was so uncanny and weird. Either way, the secondary website is quite large, has a ton of articles, and I'm not gonna lie to you, the only off thing that I found was a lot of posts. Not like a lot of posts. This person, this may be their big hobby, that's good for them, but a lot. One post was very interesting. Made me giggle a little bit. Let's read it together, okay? Let's read it. Talking about the controversy. One post caught my attention. Talking about the controversies from these videos, and probably this one too. I'll even respond to it. Such content has been boosted via mass submission to small content creators who have utilized the overall controversy for views and gains. I'll bet you my paycheck that some people did that. Final Fantasy XIV content is a drought. They jumped on that shit just for money, I guarantee it. However, why did I respond? Well, in case it's not obvious, I remember 2008. I remember 2010. Those were great years. They were not great. And I'm in a better headspace than I was, but I can remember being a part of those communities and that consuming me. This is uncanny. I wish I could take a time machine and show you the shit that was going down back then. Because it is a hard pill to swallow. And it's screaming, same old song and dance. And that's what I'm trying to bring to you. Now, outside looking in, and I mean strictly, like, I don't know these people. This looks like a self-centered type FC brand empire that takes a lot of what was problematic of the old and brings it to the forefront. We didn't know back then. We do now. So you be the judge of whether it's okay, not okay, if it's egregious, or if it's just borders that line for you. Either way, let this video be a bit of a cautionary tale because we have seen this before. So, beware communities that want your 100% devotion, that sidelines your personal time, that sidelines everything else, isolates you, and puts social pressures on you to perform and to be part of this team. Most guilds don't have this rigidity. They don't. And I understand what it's like to walk into an FC, a guild, a Discord, you name it, and immediately feel that welcome. And every night, someone messaging you and saying, hey, did you want to do that treasure map run that you've always wanted to? Perfect. We got 5 people. Let's go. I know. Be careful. And finally, the biggest piece of advice, when a guild tells you it's no drama, guess what? They have it, or they had it, probably have. A little bit of a different video, because the minute I seen this situation was happening, I was like, shit, wow, that reminds me of this time. Oh my goodness, remember when, I jumped on it. So, this one's from the heart. Let me know your experiences with either old stuff or stuff that's going on right now. I'm curious. This isn't to shit on anyone. Or if you're like me and you've been around for a while. In the meantime, you like nerdy videos like these, like Final Fantasy XIV. I post a shit ton of videos all the time. We stream, we do all kinds of stuff. I'm more Chief Peeps. I'm like that here on YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, Twitter, you name it, I'm on there. And in the meantime, have yourselves a legendary night. Thank you so much for being here, and I can't wait to see you guys again on the next one. Bye. I caught wind of this on TikTok, and my first reaction while watching the video, while she was listing out the stuff that they were doing, I was like, yeah, I know that makes sense. Yeah, I've seen that, yeah. I had to catch myself and be like, no, girl, this isn't normal. What the fuck? Like, that shit still sticks with you. Maybe I'm a